Module 3, Architecture and Design, Set 1. Framework. In computer programming, a software framework is an abstract or concrete framework under which software providing generic functionality can be selectively changed by additional user-written code, thus providing application-specific software. Benchmarks/Secure Configuration Guides. Benchmarks and secure configuration guides offer guidance for setting up and operating computer systems to a secure level that is understood and documented. The standard for a benchmark is a consensus-based set of knowledge designed to deliver a reasonable set of security across as wide a base as possible. Web server. A web server is server software, or a system of one or more computers dedicated to running the software, that can satisfy client HTTP requests on the public World Wide Web or also on private LANs and WANs. The purpose of a web server is to store and deliver web contents and or web resources. Operating system. An operating system, OS, is system software that manages computer hardware, software resources, and provides common services for computer programs. Operating systems are found on many devices that contain a computer, from cellular phones and video game consoles to web servers and supercomputers. Application server. An application server is a server that hosts applications. Application server frameworks are software frameworks for building application servers. An application server framework provides both facilities to create web applications and a server environment to run them. General-purpose guides. A general-purpose computer is a computer designed to perform, or that is capable of performing, in a reasonably efficient manner, the functions required by both scientific and business applications. Defense in-depth/layered security. Defense in-depth is a concept used in information security in which multiple layers of security controls, defense, are placed throughout an information technology, IT, system. Technical. Technical computing is the application of the mathematical and computational principles of scientific computing to solve practical problems of industrial interest. DMZ. In computer security, a DMZ, or demilitarized zone, sometimes referred to as a perimeter network or screened subnet, is a physical or logical subnetwork that contains and exposes an organization's external-facing services to an untrusted, usually larger, network such as the Internet. Extranet. An extranet is a controlled private network that allows access to partners, vendors, and suppliers or an authorized set of customers, normally to a subset of the information accessible from an organization's intranet. Wireless. Wireless communication, or just wireless, when the context allows, is the electromagnetic transfer of information between two or more points that do not use an electrical conductor as a medium by which to perform the transfer. The most common wireless technologies use radio waves. Guest. The physical, real-world hardware running the VM is generally referred to as the host, and the virtual machine emulated on that machine is generally referred to as the guest. A host can emulate several guests, each of which can emulate different operating systems and hardware platforms. NAT, Network Address Translation. Network Address Translation, NAT, is a method of remapping an IP address space into another by modifying network address information in the IP header of packets while they are in transit across a traffic routing device. Ad hoc. Ad hoc is a Latin phrase meaning literally to this. In English, it generally signifies a solution designed for a specific problem or task, non-generalizable, and not intended to be adapted to other purposes. Compare with a priori. Physical. Physical computing involves interactive systems that can sense and respond to the world around them. In a broader sense, physical computing is a creative framework for understanding human beings' relationship to the digital world. Virtualization. In computing, virtualization or virtualization, sometimes abbreviated V12N, a numeronym, is the act of creating a virtual, rather than actual, version of something, including virtual computer hardware platforms, storage devices, and computer network resources. Air gaps. An air-gapped computer or network is one that has no network interfaces, either wired or wireless, connected to outside networks. To move data between the outside world and the air-gapped system, it is necessary to write data to a physical medium such as a thumb drive, and physically move it between computers. Remote access, host to site. A remote access service connects a client to a host computer, known as a remote access server. The most common approach to this service is remote control of a computer by using another device which needs internet or any other network connection. Here are the connection steps. User dials into a PC at the office. Sensors. In the broadest definition, a sensor is a device, module, machine, or subsystem whose purpose is to detect events or changes in its environment and send the information to other electronics, frequently a computer processor. There are a wide range of other sensors, measuring chemical and physical properties of materials. Collectors. A collection is simply an object that groups multiple elements into a single unit. Collections are used to store, retrieve, manipulate, and communicate aggregate data. If you have used the Java programming language or just about any other programming language, you are already familiar with collections. Filters. A filter is a computer program or subroutine to process a stream, producing another stream. While a single filter can be used individually, they are frequently strung together to form a pipeline. Some operating systems such as Unix are rich with filter programs. Proxies. In computer networking, a proxy server is a server application or appliance that acts as an intermediary for requests from clients seeking resources from servers that provide those resources. Firewalls. In computing, a firewall is a network security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. A firewall typically establishes a barrier between a trusted network and an untrusted network, such as the Internet. VPN concentrators. A VPN concentrator is a type of networking device that provides secure creation of VPN connections and delivery of messages between VPN nodes. It is a type of router device, built specifically for creating and managing VPN communication infrastructures. Advertisement. SSL accelerators. TLS acceleration, formerly known as SSL acceleration, is a method of offloading processor-intensive public key encryption for transport layer security, TLS, and its predecessor secure sockets layer, SSL, to a hardware accelerator. Load balancers. In computing, load balancing refers to the process of distributing a set of tasks over a set of resources, computing units, with the aim of making their overall processing more efficient. DDoS mitigator. A distributed denial of service, DDoS, attack occurs when multiple systems flood the bandwidth or resources of a targeted system, usually one or more web servers. A DDoS attack uses more than one unique IP address or machines, often from thousands of hosts infected with malware. SDN. Software-defined networking, SDN, technology is an approach to network management that enables dynamic, programmatically efficient network configuration in order to improve network performance and monitoring, making it more like cloud computing than traditional network management. TPM, Trusted Platform Module. Trusted Platform Module, TPM, also known as ISO/IEC 11889, is an international standard for a secure crypto processor, a dedicated microcontroller designed to secure hardware through integrated cryptographic keys. HSM, Hardware Security Module. A hardware security module, HSM, is a physical computing device that safeguards and manages digital keys, performs encryption and decryption functions for digital signatures, strong authentication and other cryptographic functions. A hardware security module contains one or more secure crypto processor chips. UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. The Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, UEFI, is a specification that defines a software interface between an operating system and platform firmware. UEFI can support remote diagnostics and repair of computers, even with no operating system installed. BIOS, Basic Input/Output System. In computing, BIOS, an acronym for Basic Input/Output System and also known as the System BIOS, ROM BIOS, or PC BIOS, is firmware used to perform hardware initialization during the booting process, power on startup, and to provide runtime services for operating systems and programs. Supply chain. A supply chain is the network of all the individuals, organizations, resources, activities, and technology involved in the creation and sale of a product. A supply chain encompasses everything from the delivery of source materials from the supplier to the manufacturer through to its eventual delivery to the end user. Hardware Root of Trust. Roots of Trust, ROT, is a set of functions in the trusted computing module that is always trusted by the computer's operating system, OS. Detection and reporting of unauthorized changes to the operating system or programs. Detection of rootkits. EMI, Electromagnetic Interference, /EMP, Electromagnetic Pulse. Electromagnetic interference, EMI, is the disruption of operation of an electronic device when it is in the vicinity of an electromagnetic field in the radio frequency, RF, spectrum. Many electronic devices fail to work properly in the presence of strong RF fields. EMI, Electromagnetic Interference. Electromagnetic interference, EMI, also called radio frequency interference, RFI, when in the radio frequency spectrum, is a disturbance generated by an external source that affects an electrical circuit by electromagnetic induction, electrostatic coupling, or conduction. EMP, Electromagnetic Pulse. An electromagnetic pulse, EMP, also sometimes called a transient electromagnetic disturbance, is a short burst of electromagnetic energy. Such a pulse's origin may be a natural occurrence or man-made and can occur as a radiated, electric, or magnetic field or a conducted electric current, depending on the source.